Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's November and I hope you're having a happy one. So my garden, it's not rained. We've been having a prolonged drought. The rains have been very late. We just received about one rain in my area, and so I want to go around the garden and see what we have. We have some greenery. We've been trying to keep up with it. So let's go around and see what we have. So here we have spinach. We planted a whole container, but as you can see, just a few that are thriving. Over here we have a herb. This is a medicinal herb. It's called garden rue. Its smell is very pungent. It's not my best. It's not my favorite of herbs, but if you have a cold and you put it in hot water and you steam with it, the cold is gone, it's history. Then this is Yushonderema Malabar spinach. I wanted to climb over this ladder. It's an old ladder. Yeah, so here we have an old eggplant, still has one eggplant. Yeah, from the last season. Over on this bed, over here we had climbing beans. We harvested all of them and brought everything down. So down there we've planted some squash and some cucumbers. They have not yet germinated, but we are hoping they'll come up and they'll do well. So we are watering them twice a day. It's very hot. Then we have a spinach here. And then down there, towards the end of this bed, we have squash, which is courgette. Zucchini, yes, that's what we have. In these water bottles containers, we've always put their onions. We just change the soil. I think onions love to stay in those ones, and I also think they look good while they are there. So I put their spring onions. They have gone to seed because of the heat. Remember, most vegetables bolt when the heat is too much, so they have bolted, but we don't mind. We will harvest the seeds and grow them in the next season. So the next container here, we have spring onions. These are new. I just planted them. I'll come and weed them and give them some support. They are falling all over. But yeah. Next I have dandelions. Most people consider dandelions as weeds, but me, I consider them as vegetables, and so I actually grow them, harvest the flowers like these ones. I use these ones for tea. There are so many benefits of drinking dandelion tea. And then I use the leaves for vegetables. This is a lettuce and some dandelions in this container, and then I have an avocado. So if you've watched my videos, you remember there is a day I did a market haul and I bought a very huge avocado. I decided to save that seed and grow it. It has germinated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the other plants and give the avocado time to sprout and grow, so that I can transplant it into a better place, maybe a more spacious area. It can't live here. So in this next container here, this is you see this herb here is called yarrow. Yeah, so it lives here. There are some weeds, but yeah, that's what happens when you are not hands-on in your garden. So the next one is lots of spring onions. I grow lots of onions always, and some volunteer sunflowers. I grew sunflowers last time. I think some seeds were dropped either by birds or by whoever, and they are here. They are thriving. I think I'll transplant them. If the rains get better, I'm going to transplant those sunflowers. This side we have lots of marigolds. I grew marigolds here last season, and I've not been very keen to grow a lot of things here, so they seeded themselves and came back. That's my big lavender. It's always thriving. Now it's flowering. I have some beautiful lavender flowers, blooms here. Yeah, so over here just volunteer crops. Even these beans, I'm sure I cooked some beans and threw the leftovers here, and it's great. I don't know what bean it is, so I'll let it mature completely, then I'll see what they are and if I want to save the seeds. Here, this was managu. Usually when I grow some managu like this, I usually pinch it on top like that, so that it expands, gets more branches, and so I get to get more of managu. Yeah, so these ones are just a few. Managus are loved by aphids, so I don't grow a lot because they stress me to maintain them. They just grew kidogo, and then when the aphids become too much, I just uproot them, give them to the chicken, and move on. This is an empty bed. I just harvested beetroots. I'm letting it stay there. This is my nursery. Wow, very pathetic. It's looking bad, but this is where I start most of the seeds that I grow. But because it hasn't rained, I have just started a few. Like I can see some sprouting over here. but it's not that much because I don't want also to grow a lot and then I'm not able to maintain. And this was lettuce seedlings that I had put here. I have already transplanted most of those, and yeah, we're going on. So back to this other side, we have several volunteer sunflowers. I don't think I'll transplant all of them, but I'll transplant a few. And this is my ever-giving chamomile. Probably you've seen it either in my shorts or my Facebook page or my Instagram. It has produced a lot of chamomile, and we've dried it and kept it for tea for later. So it has done well. My favorite climbing beans. And now I'm growing them in these former tomato cages just to make sure I rejuvenate the soil down there and also get to harvest the leaves, because now it's a bit hot in my area. Beans are a promising crop because they are little maintenance, they don't require a lot of water, and so they are thriving and I'm getting food. So that's the advantage of growing beans. In a small space, you will get food even when it's a bit tough. Here we have, this is turmeric. Yes, this is turmeric and strawberry. The strawberry is clearly not doing well. So I plan to remove the whole thing. I uproot the whole pot, harvest my turmeric, because once it starts drying like this, it means that the turmeric, there is something to harvest. So I'll just overturn it, harvest my turmeric, change the soil, and maybe bring something else. The strawberry is tired, but they have been coexisting and we've eaten a lot of strawberries from this pot. Here we have our chilies. They have also done a good job. Not anymore, and they have been coexisting with stevia. Stevia is a natural sugar replacement. So this one dried, I chopped it up, and then it's sprouting. I hope it does well. Right now we're just letting what grows, grows. What doesn't grow, goes. So back to this side again, we have sunflower, beans, and these are volunteer managu. A lot of them. I'll just pick a few, transplant them into the empty containers, and the rest my chicken will enjoy. I don't like a lot of managu in my garden. The amount of aphids it will bring, I'm not ready for it. So this is a cucumber. I actually noticed this morning that I do have baby cucumbers. Okay, these are not baby cucumbers. They are blooming. Okay, the flowers, whatever. Yeah, so this is a container that had leeks. So what I usually do with my leeks, I don't uproot them. I just cut them from here. I'll cut the leek with scissors, and then it will come back like this one. So this one is like the second or maybe the third time I'm eating this leek. I don't remove all of them. So more cucumber on this container, and more spring onions. So here, this miserable looking container, and maybe or fenugreek. So when they grew, I used to eat the leaves. I used to use the leaves for my cooking, and now it went to seed. So I am keeping these seeds. Upufre to put any seed. Yes, there are seeds. So what I'm going to do is, yes, there are. They've already fallen, some of them. So this is how the seeds look like. Fenugreek seeds. Maybe you've come across the fenugreek leaves or fenugreek as a herb in the market, or fenugreek powder. It's very popular in natural remedies. So I use mine as a spice. So I just use it to cook the powder or the leaves. So this is the way the seeds look like, and that's why I left this one, even though it looks very neglected, to go to seed, so that I harvest these and plant them in the next season. Seed saving every day. That's my next my other name. I like to save my seeds a lot. So this is a dying celery. So the trick about celery, if you want to harvest your celery for long, never ever uproot them. You see the way you see in the market, the celery has been uprooted and then you just buy the whole thing. I don't do that. So what I do, this one is obviously dying, so it's an old one. I just cut like this. So the dying ones, I'll give them to my animals. But these ones, I'm going to juice them or do whatever, maybe soups or whatever. Then the celery will continue growing, so it can serve even for a whole year if you harvest it like this, as opposed to uprooting the whole plant. So you just keep feeding it, keep harvesting the leaves as you do with sukuma wiki, and it will keep serving you. So next is where we came from, the onions and the zucchini down there. So this side I have started some pepino melons seedlings. So as I said, it was very hot, so I was using anything that looked like a mulch. These are maize stalks. So when you harvest maize, whatever remains, I would give to my goats, and then when the goats have eaten and they have leftovers, I'll take the leftovers and cover my plants so they don't die of the heat. So I was using these ones as a mulch. These are onions, bulb onions. Not doing so well, but also I'll still have to eat them. I have something to eat. Over the fence there, that one needs to come down, clear it. It's doing the wrong thing. It's a chayote plant. It produces so many of them. I mean, I've eaten them until I'm tired. So I just feed them to the rabbits. All the goats, because there are so many, produces liberally, like more than you can eat. Here I have my gooseberries. So there are some which are ripe, like this one. Okay, not fully ripe, but we have one here. We have several gooseberries. So this is a gooseberry, and it's sharing this container with chives. These slender, slim onions, so they are coexisting. Over there, there's lemon balm, which is also a type of mint, and across that other container there is my chocolate mint. Actually smells like chocolate. You should try that one. Then over here, I've just planted more herbs. That's more stevia. This one is a new stevia. These ones don't need to be here. They need to go because they will cause us diseases. So that's stevia. These are onions. That's thyme. It's a very old plant. I actually have planted another thyme, so I plan to totally remove that one and bring a new one. Bring something else over there. Yes. And this was managu. Literally gone to seed, so not much. This is my cherry tomato. This one produces a lot of tomatoes. You can harvest so much, and it keeps going as high as you can provide a trellis. The tomato will keep going up. Yeah, so it's you see the fruits look like pear shaped, whatever. They're just long oval fruits, not the usual round ones, and they are very tasty. Here is my basil. I bought it as purple basil. I don't know what it does. It just always turns green, but the leaves remain purple. Yeah, this is a plant. This is a seedling I have bought. I hope I'll plant it with the rains, but since the rains have delayed, I have to find a way of planting it. It's an apple tree. Then here I had planted terere in this container, still there. Then these are herbs. I need to transplant them. This one is called, it's what? It's lemon feast. It has a very citrusy smell when you break it down. And here is ashwagandha herb. Ashwagandha powder is now very popular in Kenya. People are buying it and taking it for anxiety, for stress. So I want to plant my own. I have 2 seedlings. I'm going to transplant those. These are newly planted containers. There are some weeds. We have not weeded, but we will do that. All these are beetroot over there, but they need a bit of cleanup. This is my dragon fruit. Obviously the one that is not doing 100% well like I would like it to do, but it's alive. That's what matters. Here is my, I found a ladybird. These are very good, good animals to have in your farm. This means your ecosystem is good. So if you don't spray, it has gone. If you don't spray harmful insecticides in your garden, you will find insects like those, and they are very beneficial because the ladybirds eat the aphid, so you don't have to use toxic chemicals to spray to your garden. So this is a pepper. I don't know what is. Either it's an habanero. I am not sure. I bought 3 of them, and so I didn't know which one was what. So I'm going to wait for them to produce, then I'll tell which one is which. Next is my bok choy. As usual, very loved by both insects and birds, but I know these are birds that are tearing it up. It's obviously tough even for birds, so they have to find something to eat. So that's my bok choy. I think I'll just come over and harvest all of it. It's ready for eating. Yeah, so next is my zucchini. More zucchini in this container. These 2, they are doing better, actually, way better than the ones on the ground. And people keep asking me, why do you grow crops on a container when you can grow them on the ground? It's easier, and most of the time, most crops will do better in a controlled area, especially if you are facing harsh conditions. A container is easier to maintain and also to water. So it keeps more water compared to the ones on the ground, and these are doing better. Spinach all over. Spinach has never disappointed me, whether it's on the ground or in the containers. I have always had success with those ones. So the herb there is lemon verbena. So you will notice a lot of herbs in this garden, because when you intercrop herbs and vegetables, the herbs repel some bad bugs and attract some good bugs. So your ecosystem is a bit complete, and you get away with not using a lot of chemicals. So next is I think we just go here to this. This is what? Butternut. I'm trying to see whether it can go up, because I clearly don't have space for it to go down. It thrived during a very hot season, so I could not stand removing it. It is a volunteer. I didn't plant it. I think we just poured some seeds and then decided to grow. Yeah, so I'll take care of it. Maybe I'll prune the lower leaves so that we don't have powdery mildew. Yeah, it's already starting to attack us, but I'll see. I'll deal with that. Maybe I'll prune the lower leaves so that the splashback doesn't keep that spreading all around. Then I have a lot of chili. These are the bad eye. I grew lots of those ones. You see all over here, all the way to there. And this is a pepino melon. I used to have a very big plant. Then it grew old. I removed it and brought a new one. And all down there is all chili, all, yeah. Whatever, bad eye. Is it bad eye or what? That tiny red chili is the one. Yeah, next is my orange. This orange refused to grow above that height, but the most beautiful thing about it gives oranges. So every other time you come, you will get an orange or two from this tree, as short as it is. So I have no quarrels. Behind it is a celery. Like I have celery all the time, everywhere. And then behind it is my aloe vera plant, which I use for my chicken. If you haven't watched the video of how I use aloe vera for the chicken and the reason I use aloe vera for chicken, it's time to go check out that video. I'll leave it in the description. And next is my dragon fruit. This one, if you've watched the journey, you know. If you know, you know. So this one has a lot of these branches. There are actually like 20 of them. I know I need to prune a few for it to thrive, but I think this is the laziest thing I'm growing in this garden. So I'll come over and tend it and see, maybe it's time it might produce something. So down here we have lots of beetroot. As usual, beetroot is a must-have. Lots of celery, which is a must-have in this garden. This is an old tomato cage. I'm planning to come and put in there some beans. As usual, I like to rotate my crops. Next is my Swiss chard. These ones didn't do very well, the yellow ones, but it is what it is. I'm not complaining, considering how the weather has been. And next is my orange. This orange surprises me every time. It has so big oranges, like they are so huge. And they're also so sweet. So I let them stay in the garden until they are yellow, a good amount of yellowing, then I harvest them. That's when they are sweetest. So it also has very many small baby oranges. So you'll keep having more and more oranges. And by the way, if it were not for my goat, which actually eats this orange almost every day, maybe I would have more than this. Then over here is my spinach. And one thing that I've noticed, this Swiss chard, the green one, always likes going to seed. So I always let it and then harvest the seeds and then grow them again. It's very hard to see a spinach going to seed, but this surprises me every time. And so I keep growing it. Next is these are pomegranates. I've had this tree, I think, for over 2 years or more. But finally, the last season it produced two, just produced two fruits. Now it has so many. There are more than 10 all over. They're just fruits and flowers. So it has so many prospects over here. There are so many of them. And so I hope I'll get more leeks over here. As I said before, I don't uproot my leeks until I'm tired with them. That's when I uproot them. Then here I have more spinach. Like spinach are always abundant in my garden. Spinach and more spinach. Some kale over there. It's very young. And then my purple basil, that's my actual purple basil. The other one, I don't know. But this one is truly purple and I like it. So I'm going to babysit that one. Literally watch over it and see if I can get seeds that produce a purple basil. I've not even planted any green basil in this garden this time because I don't want any cross-pollination and losing my purple basil. I hope it works. I don't know. Yeah, so gardens are full of experiments. Here is my mango tree. Always produced lots of flowers and then drops all of them, and then we will have like 20-30 mangoes. Right now it looks like it will have like just the same average of 20-30 mangoes. Not complaining because I will have mangoes. Yeah, so here are my mints. Clearly not doing so well, but they are alive. That's the beauty of mint. It doesn't die. Then over here my pot has had a chamomile that has also done so well. I don't know which variety is this, but I'm so happy with it. Then my bush beans gone to seed. We are letting them dry for seed saving. Next is my oregano. Clearly needs a refresh, needs to come out and get replanted. Then those are my cherry tomato seedlings. I started them there. I need to transplant them. Kales down here, not doing bad. Not 100%, but we thank God for them. Here I have this is my gold oregano. Yeah, then next is my dwarf curry. It's a new plant. Like I said, I'm using these dry leaves to mulch it, to protect the soil down here from the harsh sun. Then there's rosemary, a bit of beetroot in that container, more leeks. This is parsley. It's struggling, but my prayer is that it goes to seed. As you can see, it's already showing signs of flowering. And if it flowers, then I'll save these seeds and refresh that container. This is bay leaf. This one never goes very high, but when it goes, I harvest the leaves, I dry them. I use them dry in my soups and in my stews, so it's doing just fine. Then here, small spinach, like spinach is always everywhere, more leek. More bush beans here going to seed, gone to seed actually, and we're almost harvesting them now. And this is thyme, and this is garlic chives. More beetroot. Here we have lemongrass. The way it looks like this is because my goats can never pass it without chewing on it, so it's like everyday food for them. So they just pass here, they chew a bit of it. That's what they do, but we coexist with them because they are mine and I can't send them away. More spring onions here, and here we have berries. These ones I've never made it to the house. I'm always harvesting like this one and eating them in the garden. Always. So they don't, like I always eat them. Those are gardeners' packs. So thank you so much for watching this video. Always remember, if you have a vision, add some passion. I'll see you in the next one.